So- hey there, Ed. How's it going? I went to like set up the live stream and all the settings had been forgotten. I mean, I had, it had been months. No data. What the heck? All right, now it's working. Weird. Stream setting. Viewer stream health. It's going to say no data. Okay, I think we're good right now. I'm in the green. I don't know what just happened. There may have been like some kind of weird power thing. I'm gonna create. I'm gonna upload or add an image here. I gotta find it. Sorry, this is all stuff I should have done earlier, but oh, I don't want that one. This is the one we did, so I'm gonna grab this. Let's see. Name it P1 and 2, P2. Okay. And then copy that. So I'm going to show you what we did a couple days ago. And so I'm going to upload a couple. I didn't create scenes, so sorry. I'm creating this scene now. I'm bringing new meaning to creating a scene. Oh, let's do this. Okay. Okay, let's see. Browse. Come on, browse. Desktop. Golly, you guys. I don't deserve any patience here. Let's see. I'm going to go alphabetical. We got so many documents that we've done. I've got a here's the one I want. Open. It's gonna be giant. Yep, I knew it. So I got to make it smaller somehow. Grab that corner. Okay. So this is what we did last week, or Monday, right? So we took pentatonic 1, and we went up one note on the string from the highest of the two notes, and we did that to every one of these. Using the scale. You know, another thing we could do, and I may do this at the end, but that is to take your, oh shoot. I know it's in a weird tuning, so we can't take a sip. That's one of the sippable offenses. If I pick up a guitar and don't know what tuning it's in, we have to take a sip. But you can take that pentatonic, notes in the pentatonic, the 5 notes A, C, D, E, and G, and find them on every string. So if we were to take, pretty close. If we were to take grids, like I can find, I've got them. I think I've got a link to where we could have. Basically, you're going to want like a 17 fret grid or even more. You know, maybe a 22 fret grid. And then if you just go through each string and put a dot on every A, every C, every D, every E, and every G, if you do that to every string up and down up the neck, from the open all the way up to the 22nd fret or 20th fret, all of the pentatonic shapes would be there. And you just have to kind of find them. But they'll all be there. And they'll all be in, basically in group, in positions, different positions. Like, the one we started on, the pentatonic number 1, was at the 5th position. And then pentatonic 2, which we started to shed that one a little bit. So with this diagram here, what we do is we took the first 2 notes of pentatonic number 1, and then we went up to the next note, which was right here. And so that's what the red note is. And actually not a bad thing to know, especially, as I said Monday, for bending, that you know what note you're going to. And you'll notice that the top 3 strings, these notes, those are all whole steps. So those are good notes to bend. They're your skinny strings, so they're easier to bend. This one here would be harder to bend, up a minor third. This one's also a minor third. And then this one is the same as the first string. George Harrison did a bend on the bottom string. And so, you know, you can bend the lower strings, even on acoustic. Okay, I'm going to switch to wood. Oh, I forgot we recorded services at church. And I have not, you know, I don't have a, I'm going to stick with the acoustic guitar because I don't have amps up, and I'm afraid to reroute my, okay, I don't need that. Okay, so now I've got another diagram. So let me maybe move this. I think this is, well, okay. Sorry, I'm not seeing comments. Let me, here we go. All right. Sorry about that false alarm on the, stream. I was like trying to figure out how did I do this again? Because all my settings were gone. So I had to kind of find everything. So that's what took me a while. Charlie, Jim, David. Let's see, who else we got? Ed. Let's see. I don't need, okay. Roger, Charlie B. Diane's here. Oh, I need a story. Dang it. Charlie B's just here for the stories. Yes, is it buffering again? Dang it. It was doing it a second ago. Hopefully, we'll be good. Okay, so let me grab another image. Add another image. And this one is going to be paste B. It's so, this is such a cumbersome like process to do this, but it's my fault for not doing it in advance. Okay, so here's the other one. Basically the same thing without the arrows. Okay. So now you can see pentatonic 1, which is the black notes, and then pentatonic 2, which is the over here, the middle notes, and then the top red ones. Okay, does that make sense? Oops, I'm moving my. There we go. Now I can isolate this. I've got that in here too. So let me add that. We'll just call this P2. Gotta go hunting for it. I could do this view here. I think I created a newish one too. Okay, I did that one. Okay, that was one of the new ones I did. Okay, here's this one. Okay, so this is it by itself. Giant. I'm just gonna put it right there. I think that makes the most sense. Like that. It's just, you can call me pentatonic head. Like bucket head. But I can put that over here. Okay, so that's it isolated. And that's the shape we're going to work on a little bit today. I do need to get an amp up. So let me go ahead and open up. Oh, it won't let me open up. This hard drive is working. I was also having issues with a hard drive that just kept booting off and booting off and booting off. I was like, come on. In fact, it's going to tell me right now when I try to open this up. Yep. Sound library could not be found because it's on the hard drive that keeps dropping, which I'm in the process of getting all SSD drives. I'm tired of these spinning drives. The SSD drives are so quiet. And the other cool thing about the SSD drives is they're powered by the computer. So, okay. No, it's, all right. Why is that not powering up? There we go. Okay, now it's going to work. Here we go. I'm just going to go with the Amplitube Experiments. So, you guys are just watching me do computer stuff. Totally a sippable offense, in my opinion. stuff. It's so frustrating. Probably because that computer's... No, I don't cancel. I don't want to load anything. I don't know what your deal is. Okay, so I got to get a guitar. Get the Gino. Get a Gino. Sure, why not? And it's in standard tuning. So, and, just not organized this morning. All right, and now we put. All right, clean Marshall. Doesn't sound awful. That's got a sub like guitar thing on it. I'm gonna crank this amp up a little bit here. Then turn the master down. Oh yeah, bridging. I forgot about bridging. I used to bridge my Marshall to give it more bass, which just means it's really weird. You can take because the Marshalls have 4 inputs, or 2 1s and 2 2s. So if you plug into 1 and then plug a chord going from 1 to 2, it'll bridge the 2 sections together, and so you can have more amp. Have you ever bridged a Marshall? Gosh, I can't believe people are watching this. Just can't believe it. Okay. So, let's see. I want something more gainy. All right. So I'm just gonna go ahead because I know Guitar Rig really well, so I'm just gonna load a Guitar Rig right now and just have something super gainy because it's just super easy for me to do. And then and hissy. Turn up the noise gate. That's just the 94 rock solo. It's a preset in Guitar Rig, which is a product of. So what is this? Oh, funny. Yeah. See, the stuff didn't load. I don't need any of that. Okay. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to go over this scale. It was prophetic. I said people shouldn't be watching this, and they tuned out. Okay, so the way we arrived at this scale on Monday was we added notes to number 1. We also did some different groupings of 3. Ascending and descending, groupings of 4. Here's descending 4. And you can pluck every note, or you could do pull-offs. So that was groupings of 4. Like I said, I like groupings of 5, and then the way I do those oftentimes is to do them instead of on, because when you do a grouping, you go however many notes. If it's 5 notes, you go 5 notes from the first pitch, and then you go to the second pitch, 5 notes down from that, and 5 notes down from this, and 5 notes from that. But what I do is instead of going from each individual scale tone. I go down only from the notes, the higher of the two pairs. So it's a la Eric Johnson. Now, if I were to do every note, it would sound like this. And I just like the sound of 5 because what you're doing is you're playing 5 notes, but you're using 16th note. You're using 16th notes, so it's like groupings of 4, and then they get off 1. You got an extra note, so you got 4 16th notes and then another 16th note, and so then the next phrase starts on the second 16th note, and then the next phrase starts on the third 16th note of the group, and then the next phrase starts. So it, without having to work too hard, you have this randomizing sound, which is, again, tends to make it sound a little bit less like a pattern if you build in. And that's the same thing with, if I did groupings of 3, and if we did groupings of 3, you can practice them 2 ways. You can practice them as triplets. So it'd be like, here's your 1, 2, 3, 4, whoops, 3, 4, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, dot, 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 dot. Or you could do them as 16th notes, 1, 2, and that would be like a, yeah. So, and you couldn't hear the you couldn't hear the clicks, but I can put a click on my phone so you can hear what I'm talking about. But if you play groupings of 3 as 16th notes, it'll sound a little bit more random than if you were to do groupings of 3 as 8th notes. Let's see. I'm gonna actually go down. Let's say go to 100. Let's see what that's on. As loud as it'll get. So that's what triplets sound like. Shoot, what am I doing? Yeah. That's 16th notes. So, so you can practice. You could do 5s as triplets. That would be interesting. I'm not going to try it right now because I want to practice it first. I'm already embarrassed myself enough in 18, 19 minutes to pretty much cover the rest of the lesson. So you're like, no, you haven't. Excuse me. So let's just work on this scale here. This scale here. So now I got to point at the wall. Okay, so this scale, the wall scale, is the one we're going to work on. And then I'm going to show you maybe a couple licks that happen in there. But the main thing is we want to try to start to get this down. So you're going to start with your second finger, and I'm not going to isolate it, on the 8th fret of the bottom string, the 6th string, okay? All right, and then you're going to go pinky on the 10th fret. That's kind of, it's a little bit of a challenge just because, not having your first finger involved in it at all is kind of weird. And then having your pinky involved is also difficult. So, but I would stick with that. You could do 1, 3, but then you're just going to have to move your whole hand down a fret because ultimately this scale is in the 7th position because your first finger is going to be assigned the 7th fret. Now we will cheat. Or we can cheat when we get to the top 2 strings. And we did that on Monday. Okay, so second finger on the 8th fret, 10th fret. Now we get that first finger involved at the 7th fret on the 5th string, and now the pinky at the 10th fret. So go ahead and practice that little snippet, the bottom four notes of this scale. And this is C, D, E, G. C major scale will be, but we're not playing the F. That's one of the notes we lose in the pentatonic, in C pentatonic. Okay, so play with me. One, we'll do quarter notes. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Okay, so you could turn that into a little exercise. You could also go, if you wanted to skip a note, you go. So what I'm doing is going first or second finger on the 8th fret, then first finger on the 7th fret, and then I'm barring with my pinky. 10th fret, 10th fret. Dennis, what's going on? And welcome, Safgu Gus. Welcome, Gus. I'm just going to call you Gus. And don't worry about your English. Mine's atrocious too. I'm doing Duolingo. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it's an app on iPhone. I'm sure it's Android and Google or whatever phones you have. But and I've been working. I'm learning Spanish. I'm spending actually quite a bit of time on it. It's kind of one of those things that almost becomes a game. But I was practicing on my gardener this morning, and he just kind of laughs at me. But he's impressed. He's like, "Oh, that's a new word. Okay, you didn't know that word before, you know." And I showed it to him. It's kind of cool. So, yeah, it's called. Yeah, it's a language app. It's called Duolingo, and it's free. So, I mean, you know, there's ads, and you can pay for, I don't know, I haven't even looked into it if anyone's has it, because I don't mind buying an app, I just don't want monthlies. I don't want like $3 a month charge on my credit card, because it's like, you know, it's like the gym I had for $8 a month, but I didn't go for 7 years. So, you know, yeah, it's a great deal. $8 a month is great, but you don't go for 7 years. You know, all that money's wasted. So, I don't mind buying the app and just going, okay, here's the price, and I've got the app now. But thank you, Leo. Yeah, no, it's just funny. The thing about English is it's not the feminine, because it's not a romantic language. I'm assuming that the Portuguese, Italian, Spanish, and French, which are the romantic languages that I know of, there may be more, but those are the ones I can think of. They'll have feminine, masculine objects, and in German, I don't know about German, but I'm assuming that, you know, we're not the non-romantic languages, I guess. There's no feminine. So like just certain words you have to remember are feminine, and sometimes it's like if it ends in an A and an O, it's easy, but some of them don't end in an O. Like was it cintron, the word for belt or something? It's masculine, I think. It's el citron. But it ends in an N. So, yeah, I need to go to the gym, but they're closed in California, so we can't. Although I see all sorts of in my neighborhood we've got a lot of the CrossFit things, and they're still meeting. They covered up the front windows, and they're just meeting in the parking lot behind, and then they're going in and out of the. It cracks me up. It's like. From the front, it looks completely closed. Even got the signage. Sorry, we're closed for COVID. And in the back, they're all working out. There's like 20 people back there. It was hilarious. Oh my gosh. I think the yoga places are doing it too. But anyway, is it again? Dang it. Okay, I'm seeing green right now, so we're good. But let me check my speed. But let's get that. So you can start while I check speed, you can be practicing the next section. So, okay, second finger on the 8th fret of the bottom string, then 10th fret with the pinky, 7th fret with the first finger on the A string, 10th fret, and then the next string is same thing, 7, 10. And now we have a full octave, so that's another C there. So this is C, D, E, G, A, and C. Okay, so 1, 2, one note per count. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you can turn this in an exercise. The bottom 2 notes or 2 strings. Then the next 2 strings you could turn into an exercise. So you're playing the 5th string and the 4th string. Okay. So we're going to get our pinky involved. Now some people play it with their 3rd finger. You might as well get your pinky involved. Or you can play all 3 strings. So for 2nd finger, 4, 1, 4, 1, 4. Or another version, you could skip the A string and play the E string and the D string. So it sounds like this. Here, and then I love that because again, you're getting more intervals in your playing, like wider gaps in your notes. So that not every one of your solo tones or every one of your solo lines are going to be just scales, okay? I mean, I think about stuff like that, you know. Those are 6ths. And so those are, you know, it's nice to have those kind of wider intervals in your playing. I mean, I used to, I used to do more of that kind of stuff in my soloing. I see when, like if you follow Rick Beato on his Instagram, he does a lot of times, he'll just have a pad going and then he'll solo over it and then the pad will change and he'll do a new line. And he's really into that kind of stuff where he's, you know. Sorry. But you're basically into getting wider gaps into his playing. Is it listenable? That's the other thing. You know, it can be a little too, like, mad scientist sounding and not musical. So the truth be told, for working for like TV shows and movies in particular, when I'm asked to solo, put a guitar solo, they don't want something cutting edge. They want something that sounds like a guitar solo. So it's more, you know, something like that and bluesy or whatever, and not some like, you know. That's my impossible lick that I invented that I want to do a video on. If I can actually get it down clean, I will do a video on it. I don't have to do it once clean. But that's my impossible lick. And I think it'd be funny to do a video on a lick that I invested so much time in learning and never used. It's like, what? I didn't even use the technique that I developed from it. You know, it was like, oh, well, I'll get this great technique that I'll be able to do big wide string things. And I'm like, I don't never use that. So. Basically, all of my videos are just videos about how stupid I am. Really, I mean, in some truth, it's especially if you look at my videos about that I do. I'll put the link in here because if you're thinking about, you know, I don't know if we got any newbies here, but if you're thinking about doing music for a living, I started to do this playlist. I need to check up on it because. Business. Because if it's starting to get more views, then I might do some more. But I've got 21 videos in this playlist called The Business of Making Music. So here's I'm going to copy the link here. I also do the Discord link, and I'll do a permanent one. Excuse me. But that is the playlist link for my business of making music. Let's see. Well, now 1,600 views of the playlist is pretty good, actually. But if I click on any one of these videos, it'd be interesting to see. Oh, you know what? I can do it this way. Business. No. Oh, that's weird. Okay. Search my channel. That's what I want. Okay. Business. It just searched all of. Show all. Now let's see. weird. That's so weird. Title contains business. Huh. Well, it's not going to let me look at the... It's weird because it found them, and then it won't... Oh, I see what happened. Okay, there we go. I had it on the tab on live stream. There we go. Yeah, 700 views, 900 views. If I sort by views, the most viewed one is the first one, and 1,100 views and 900. So yeah, it's just not... You just can't... I got some people... Types. Oh, people get mad at me. Wow, look at that one. That one's got a lot of dislikes. Why do you hate me? I know why you hate me, because I'm sitting here like surfing the web while you're watching me surf the web. I don't blame you. And yet my number's up here. Okay. Hey, Mark Gibson, how's it going? Okay, so on this, it looks fuzzy. Weird. So far, we've gotten the bottom 3 strings. So the 8th fret with our second finger, 10th fret with the pinky, 7th fret with the first, 10th fret with the pinky, 7th fret with the first, 10th fret with the pinky, and then let's go to the next one. 7th fret with the first on the G string there, and then 9th. Okay? Let's try it again. Hey, John from Louisville. Oh, cool. You're actually with me. I'm so bummed that I couldn't go to Louisville this year. That the show got canceled. I don't know if... I think they're going to do another way or something. But I've been... last 3 years, I've been going to Louisville, which is a great town. The downtown area is great. The restaurants, some really good restaurants. And for the Muhammad Ali Humanitarian Awards. And so it's always fun and get to just play some... fun music and hang out and eat a lot of food. So, okay, so 8, I'm talking about frets here. 8, 10, 7, 10, 7, 10, 7, 9. And then backwards, 9, 7, 10, 7, 10, 7, 10, 8. So far we only have one note on the 8. Well, that's going to change right now. So, but you can turn. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to tell you the names of the notes. C, D, next string E, G, next string A, C, next string D, E. Okay. Now we're going to be purists for the moment, and we're going to play the next string with our second and fourth finger. Okay, so we're going to play. On the second string, you're going to play the 8th fret with the second finger, and the pinky is going to play the 10th fret. Okay? And then back down with the 3rd finger playing the 9th fret. Then the 7th fret with the first. Then pinky, first, pinky, first, pinky, and second. Okay? From the bottom, we're going to go C, D, E, G, 7th fret, A, C, D, E, and then second finger. All right, that's G and A. That's a good little exercise. That the 4 notes on the 3rd and 2nd string. It's a nice little exercise because it uses all 4 of your fingers. So you can practice it. You can practice up. You can practice down. You can practice up and down. You could do alternating. Just kind of make little exercises up. And none of these are particularly musical. One little pro tip is, there's the blues note right there. So you could throw that one in there, but we're not going to talk about blues scales yet. We're going to stick with the pentatonics at this moment. Okay, and then the last one is the same 2 frets on the top string, and that's a D. That's a C and a D. slowly, sorry. Happy fingers, board fingers, happy board fingers. That should be my production company. Happy board fingers. So let's just play the scale. We'll do a quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Descending. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, one more time. Let's try it again. And you can watch it. So, okay. And I'm going to tell you the cheater way of doing it in just a second, but let's keep it pure for a minute, okay? So we're going to, I'll give you the note names this time. So we have C, D, E, G, A, C, D, E, G, A, C, D, C, A, G, E, D, C, A, G, E, D, and C. Go all the way down to the A to kind of, finish it out. We can. And so I can add a little bit of text here. Text. All right. Whatever. A, C, D. Oh, let's start on C since we're doing the C, G, and A. Okay. Those are the notes, the 5 notes in the pentatonic scale. And I can put those down here in the bottom. Okay? Hey, Pepper. So, let me just give you, I can think of a couple examples of, like, Stairway to Heaven, I keep referencing that one, but, he may go to that F. I can't remember, but that little box right there, the top 4. Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to tell you the cheater thing. Okay, so the cheater thing we can do is instead of playing those top 2 strings with our 2nd and 4th finger, chances are when you're playing these 6 notes, you're probably coming from here. So you're probably coming from pentatonic 1. You're playing in the middle of pentatonic 1. Okay? And you're sliding up into pentatonic number 2. Do I play pentatonic all the way 2 all the way down like that? Yeah, sometimes, sure. Why not? Yeah, I mean, again, the way I play through scales is usually based on the caged method. And so I'm just kind of working my way through the different shapes. And the C chord that is here, remember this is C major pentatonic, is this bar chord. Okay, so if you play F, G, A, B, C. So it's E form, looks like an E chord. So you can see that in there, okay? If you look at the bottom string, you see the 8th fret and then the 10th fret on the 5th string and the 4th string. And then you see the 9th fret on the 3rd string, and then again with the 8th fret on the top 2 strings, you see. So when you play this chord here, you're actually playing half of the notes in that. Where's the scale? It's at the window. No, it's at the wall. The window's over there. So yeah, so when you play a C bar chord, you're playing half of the notes in this scale. Okay, you're playing. I see my hand won't go in front of it, but you're playing that one, the 2 down here on the 4th and 5th string. The one right here are the only one that's there, and then the top 2 strings up here. Okay, so if that helps you find the scale too and memorize it, that's not a bad thing. As you play it, you can do that. Now, like I said, most players when they play it though, when they're in pentatonic number 2, usually they're coming from 1 or something, and they're going up into it, and they only really are playing the top 3 strings. So what we can do is let's play it from here. So I'm on the 3rd string, 7th fret with my 1st finger, then 3rd finger on the 9th fret, and then move your hand up a fret and play 8th fret with your first finger, 10th fret with your third finger, and then it's a little, I might play it like that, even descending. I might go third finger, first finger, third finger, first finger, second finger, and then reach down with the first. Because you got to make the shift at some point. And then that's a grouping of 5 right there. So that's kind of a fun one. So, oh, question, sorry, Bruce, from John regarding the fingering to use E flat on the first string. Oh, yeah, you could use your use your pinky on that if you want to do. That's what we'd be getting. That's getting into the blues. Okay, so if you want to go. You got that little box right there? If you go one more fret with the pinky, or you could bend up to that E flat. That's the blues note that you would add in a pentatonic, making a pentatonic scale a 6-note scale. We want to keep it simple for now. But yeah, that would be another pro tip. And like I said, my goal is to kind of get through these pentatonic scales and then do the same thing and turn them all into blues scales. But I want to go slow on these and try to get you so you can, so to speak, get them under your fingers. You're welcome, John. I mean, I can tell you're a player that you would know that. A, you knew it was E flat, and B, you knew that it was on the first string, and C, you asked me about that note, and that tells me that you can, yeah. So that would definitely be. Another thing, I noticed that Stevie Ray Vaughan really loves the top 3 strings, Okay, so we're not going to do it today, but if we were to do that thing we did over here, let's see, it's at the window, so up here, right? This thing we did here, I'm trying to get my finger to get close to it. So that thing, what we did was we did the pentatonic 1, and then we went up on each of the strings, we went up to the next note. And then by doing so, we ended up creating this, and ultimately this, okay? So that's how we kind of, it's one of the ways we came up with pentatonic number 2. Okay, if we were to start to do that again, we're not going to, but if we were doing it and we're on this D note here, the next note in the scale will be this E. Okay? So and E string is not hard to bend, especially up here in the middle of the neck. The tension's even less. In fact, that's the Stairway to Heaven, right? What is it? He does that. And he goes. Right? You can play it there. Right? But what do I always say about guitar players? They're lazy, and I think he's probably playing it here. Although a Gibson's easier to bend on than a Fender. But it's really easy to bend this one up rather than this one I'm going to break eventually. If I keep doing that, I'm going to break the string. And when I say Gibson's easier to bend, basically I'm not, but the radius of a Gibson string, meaning the curvature of the neck of the fingerboard, is flatter than a Strat. So Strats, you almost feel like you're bending uphill, and Fender or Gibsons, you almost always feel like you're bending downhill. And so I mentioned this the other day when we were talking about bending. That's one of the things you want to do if you're going to swap between between a Gibson and a Fender in a show or something like that. You got to make sure you remember. Like if you practice all week on a Fender and then you do the gig with a Gibson and you go to bend, you're going to be sharp a lot because your hand's going to be like, oh, I got to go this far, and you're going to be like, you're just going to overbend everything. 32 watching, not too bad. The revenue is just dropping like a rock. It's frustrating. So, it's mainly because, you know, for a long time, 70, 75, 80% of my views were from 7 Tips for Older Beginners. But YouTube is not recommending it like it was. So now that's less than 50% of my views. And so the view count's gotten way down. But, you know, these things, like each one of these videos will get about 1,000 views. And then people stop watching them. You know, you may go back and watch. It makes sense because I'm really trying to go kind of chronological on all these subjects. So, and I'm going to keep doing this for the time being. You know, I've been getting pretty busy, so that's a good thing. But the dailies are down, and that's mainly because I'm not creating a lot of new content, and I need to do that. I do have a concept. I haven't filmed it yet for the Neil Young groove, his favorite groove. And I still want to do the hardest lick I ever tried to learn. Without looking even. So I want to do a video on that because I just think it'd be funny. I don't know if it'll go viral or not. Like I said, I've only really had one video that goes viral, and then I probably need to come up with a couple more like open D tuning. I need to do maybe you know, I don't know if I've done an open G tuning chords in open G. I think I have. But anyway. Yeah, John, yeah, well, you know, I'm an old geezer too. Hey, Richard. Yeah, Rockin' in the Free World. That's not one of the grooves, though. No. But Southern Man is the groove. He does that groove in a lot of songs. So that's the groove I'm going to talk about. And then I'm trying to come up with some consensus with different guitarists. Like Dylan, I can't find a pattern that he just loves. Paul McCartney liked finger-picking patterns. George Harrison, same thing. He didn't have one thing he did that he really liked pattern-wise. He was always kind of changing and growing as a guitar player. He was so young when he was in the Beatles. So, and then like I was looking at Tom Petty, the Eagles, John Denver. I think Eagles and Petty would be a real popular one. I don't know that John Denver, if there's any consensus there. It takes a bit of research. And then I kind of have to learn the songs, but I can't play too much of them because then I'll get a takedown. So hopefully that won't happen with Neil Young. It didn't happen with the John Lennon's favorite groove. And that's good because I tried not to play too much of the song. Anyway. Yeah, that lick is... It's the diminished scale in displaced octaves. So I take every note in the diminished scale and I go up or down an octave instead of playing it in order. And the diminished scale, because you guys are fairly musically literate, the diminished scale, it's an 8-note scale, and it repeats itself every 3 frets. But it's the formula for a diminished scale can be one of 2 ways, but it's half whole, half whole, half whole, half whole, half whole, half whole, half whole. Or it could be whole, half whole, half whole, half. Really doesn't matter. Once you get going, it's just half whole, half whole, half whole, half whole. So when you're playing it, you know, it's like half, whole, half, whole, half, whole, half. Also you can do it if you do every other note. Anyway, has nothing to do with what we're doing. Okay, so let's try to do this a little bit of Stevie Ray Vaughan, like that he does a lot. Speaking of tendencies in guitar players, Sorry, I just hit the mic. Hopefully you didn't have ears in. Go, so we're gonna start with our second finger on this on the G string at the 9th fret, and we're gonna hit that note twice, like that. Okay, and then we're gonna hit first finger on the 8th fret of the 2nd string, then 3rd finger on the 10th fret of the 2nd string, and then to the 1st string, 1st finger, 8th fret, and then back to the 3rd finger on the 2nd string. So we hit this one twice. Okay. Okay, so again, real slow. 2nd finger on the, what fret is that? 9th fret. Twice. 1st finger on the 8th, 10th fret, 8th, and then back to the 10th. And that, my friends, is the root. That's the A minor. That's the A note. Okay. I did create this morning, so let me see. Can I? That's that. I can delete that, right? Remove. Yes. Bye bye. Okay. Now I got to go add the one I created this morning for y'all's. This will be pent 2 A's. Not that you see this. Hey, Kathy. Catherine, how's it going? Okay, browsing, looking for, it's going to be here, because I just did it. Oh, yeah, here it is. Hope this is right. Now, remember, the reason pent number 1 is because, and again, I think I should just put that right there. Because pent number 1 is pent number 1 because it's my favorite because it has 3, see, do we have that here? See, it has 3 A's. There's the pent number 1, there's 3 A's, and it has 3 C's. But this one, pent number 2, only has 2 A's in it, or 2 minor roots, because this is movable. So if I go down 2 frets, those A's become G's. If I go down 2 more frets, those A's become, those G's become F's. So obviously these won't always be A's if you get rid of this fret, you put it anywhere. Because these are no open strings is completely movable. But these 2 red, kind of reddish notes, they look kind of more, I don't know. They're not as Crayola red as I was hoping, but those are A's. And so Stevie plays, and I'm pointing to these with my mouse that you can't see. See this note right here? You can't see that. Again, this live stream is just to prove what an idiot I am on a weekly basis. So, but the 1A is here, and then the other one is here, and we're playing with our 3rd finger. But you'll notice now, here's another thing, little thing. You can play all, because it's not a fast lick. It's not that. You can play it with all downstrokes. Or maybe play the first 2 notes down, up, and then all down. Stevie would do that, like he would get that digging in sound that really hard. He'd play with heavy strings and he'd tune down a half step. But he would kind of get that digging in deep, really working hard sound. And so a lot of that is attained by hitting notes all downstrokes. But sometimes if you're going a little faster, like if I want to do that, I'll do down, up. And then down there. So play it again with me. 9th fret. This is 2 E's here. E, E, G, A, C, A. You could also, if you wanted to, because we're playing blues, and that C note is really probably played over an A chord. So there's a C sharp and an A chord. So you might want to. can start. You can just start on that. Now on acoustic, that's going to be tough to bend with your first finger. On electric, not too bad. I'll bend a half step, no problem. I'll bend a whole step with my first finger sometimes too. But usually if I'm going to bend with my first finger, it's because I'm trying to get that. I'm not even going to get all the way to C, you know, if I'm in pentatonic number 1. I'm not even going to get all the way to C sharp. See, there's C sharp. And that is, again, that bend, if you're on an acoustic, Gary, if you're on your 12 string, you can go like that. Haven't seen Gary yet. Mandy Pinto is in here. What the heck? Mandy Pinto is a singer, worship leader, songwriter. Second. What does that mean? Oh. So, yeah, so that's kind of what... That's one lick that you can do in that shape. I'm trying to think of some others that are, you know, that not idiot, but idiomatic to the scale. See, I do tend to, when I'm in second position, I do tend to use that blues note. So I do tend to use that E flat there, John. Also, I don't usually stick to pure scales because I'm always trying to musically say something or make something move. It's like when we were doing the bottom 4 notes of the scale. My ear naturally wants to go though. You know, I just hear that melody. And that's kind of the whole point of learning scales is only a tool to access melodies. And I always say this, your brain is constantly recording from the time you're born, especially from the time you're born. Your brain is recording everything it hears. So you've got melodies, millions of melodies in your head that you've heard at some point. You've heard I don't care if it's some crazy shredding solo. It's very likely those notes are floating around in there somewhere. And so that's one of the things I think is real important with when you're starting to learn to solo is to try to sing along with what you're playing. I don't know if you remember we talked about this, and I've had a few people recently request that I continue the series because I kind of stopped. And I was kind of doing what we're doing right now with pentatonic scales, but then I was going blues scales and diatonic scales, and I was going up the fretboard. And what I did was I had a student a while back, a kid, an artist that I was coaching, and he wanted to learn how to solo. And it's just such a big thing to do. But he was a singer, so he's a very good singer. He had musical chops. And so what I did was I showed him pentatonic 1. I set up an A minor vamp on the keyboard, so it was just playing A minor. And then I said, okay, copy what I do. And then he went, boom, 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 you know, and that's what I do in those intro to improvisation videos that I have up. I think there are 8 or 9 of them. You can just search my videos for intro or improvisation. Intro is less letters to type. So I think intro will get you there. And what I suggest is, what's cool about it is that you can copy what I'm doing. Because I talk about the scale for like 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, and then I think I try to go 10 minutes of jamming, and I'm trying to play really slow, maybe get a little busier as we go along, and I try to leave gaps so that after I play a lick, you've got time to copy it. And I zoom in on my hand too. That's the other thing, so you can see my hand. But I tell you what you should do then. Now, if you've already got it down, say you've watched the video once and you go, oh, I can do this. Now do it again, but this time sing along with it. Okay. And the goal here is to get your head synced with your fingers. At first, you're going to go like this. You're going to go, bum, da, da. You're going to be behind. Da, da, da. Then you're going to be, boom, da, da. And then you're going to hear, boom, ba, ba. Okay, you're going to be able to transfer the ideas you have in your head or the melodies you have in your head to, and it's better if you're a good singer. I'm not a very good singer, so but that's a skill that will pay great dividends. And again, that when I'm soloing, I got to stay in this scale. I really don't do that very often. Generally, when I'm solo, I'm trying to come up with some kind of some kind of melody, and I don't know what that is, but it's a melody to something, right? Mandy, if you're still there, what is that melody? It's a classic. Is it New World Symphony? I don't know. Dvorak? I can't remember. It's not Mahler. I don't know. But anyway, Mandy's a great singer. In fact, she coaches. She coaches singers. What did Dennis say? We need replaceable drives. Yeah, every 3 or 4 days, the subscriber increases by about 100. Yeah, are you keeping tabs? Yeah, I know Bruce really wants me to get to 100,000. It's just slowing down. Oh, gosh. I mean, there was a minute there where I was getting 2,500 new subscribers a month. Almost 100 a day. Insanity. And I wish the subscribers would all go and watch all my videos, but that's just not the reality of how it works. People think they like your video and they go, oh, I'll subscribe. And then, I'm probably losing subscribers in some ways by doing these live streams, because if people are getting notifications, they're probably getting too many notifications, because, especially for the first 62 days of lockdown, I was doing daily lessons. So you were getting a notification every day. I don't have notifications turned on any of my follows that I follow on YouTube. So, okay, John asked a question, quick question about picking motion. Do you or is one supposed to strictly use the up-down alternating pattern, or do you use what I learned from a book, economy picking? It's funny because there are, economy picking, how would you define that? That's a good question. If you want to play something really fast, in fact, I was working on a flamenco piece. I'm going to change guitars so we can take a sip. All right. I was looking in this book, the Pumping Nylon book, because I hadn't looked at it in a while, and I noticed that I'd written some things in there. I was like, oh, what did I write? And I went, oh, fingering. Well, that's interesting. And there was a passage. It was something like, it was in a flamenco piece, and it's the passage started on the downbeat. So when John talks about economy picking, and I'm going to use an example with finger picking, but it was a passage right, very flamenco sounding phrase. And when I first started playing it, I started with my first finger because it was on the downbeat, and you always start downbeats with the first finger. Go, I'm doing I am. It's the classical guitarist equivalent to a down, up, down, up, down, up, okay? But for some reason, I couldn't get it very fast. I still can't. It's one of my flaws as a player. I just I can't get that thing going very fast. But then I realized, wait a minute, my hands were kind of getting out of sync. Right there. It just wasn't working. So I figured out that if I start with my second finger, my middle finger, and go middle am I instead of I am, and I stick to that, it all makes far more sense. Like the last two notes, I'm playing the second string with the first finger and the first string with the second finger. So it's almost like a finger picking pattern. Okay, so so sometimes, yes, I would use economy picking when you're working on a very fast phrase, but I generally try to stick to fairly. I try to stick to fairly alternating, pure alternating down up down up down up picking. But I laughed because I realized, there was something that I didn't realize. And again, I think part of it is just do it, and whatever happens happens. I know that sounds not like something a teacher would tell you to do, but sometimes you can think too much about these things. And I'll give you an example. I have to switch guitars again so we all get to take another sip. I never got my sip, by the way. Yeah, and I know that. I knew that's what you meant, John. It's a very Frank Gambale way to look at things. Frank Gambale's does his picking thing is very economical. So if you're going from like the fourth string to the third string, then you would pick down down. Oh yeah. Oh, Leo, you got that? You got that? Yes. I should maybe do so. We could start working through this also as a part of our live stream. I could say, okay, pick up this, and I probably make 50 cents from you, Leon. So thank you for the 50 cents. But like Gambale would do, and Satriani would do a lot of sweeping. And so when you're sweeping, you're not alternating. You're like down, see, down, up, down, 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 up, up. You know. And so it's economical in the sense that you can really go fast if you're just going. Like I can do that a lot faster than I could with all downstrokes, and if I tried to alternate that. So the point is, if you got two notes on adjacent strings, you would pick down down instead of down up. That's one of those things though too. If I was picking two strings like that, I would go. Obviously, if I'm going to be coming back, I always kind of want to pick in the direction of the next string in those scenarios. So if I'm going to go, let's say I'm going to go play this triad. I might go down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up. So yeah, I wouldn't, in that scenario, I wouldn't go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. But I'll tell you who would. A bluegrass player would totally do that. It's one of the things you have to work on with bluegrass players. They would take a triad, a three-note triad like that, and do kind of a... They really stick to the pure alternating thing for the most part. And, I mean... So I worked on that, obviously not very well. All right, I'll take a sip too. Thank you. Dennis is looking out for my hydration. So if I were to play like up here in this pentatonic shape, if I'm going to do what's kind of called like an arpeggio where I'm letting it ring out, yeah, I would probably go down, down, up, up. But if I was doing like a... I think the reason why, John, that bluegrass players will take those triads even, and instead of doing economy picking on them, they'll do the pure down, up, is just, it helps them keep the time, and it helps them get back into licks, okay? So like... the hand's already moving in that. It's just like and also the other thing is sometimes when they play, they hit more than one string, so they get this kind of cool like double stop sound or harmony sound. So it's, anyway, I'm just making stuff up. None of this is true. Do I have to donate to the website to get the PDF? No. What website? Not to mine. I don't have a website. Well, I do have a website, but... Yes. Okay, and so that, John, and that was the thing. When I laughed about pure, up and down, the 3-note per scale thing, I realized when I'm going up, I use pure alternating picking. Okay? So I was like working on this, not even thinking about my right hand, just working on my left hand. And what's funny is I use alternating picking ascending and economy picking descending. And people were like, what do you mean? Okay. So these are I call these threepers. There are 3 notes per string scales. And it's a G scale. I'm starting on G. G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C. So when I'm going ascending, when I'm going up the fretboard pitch wise, I'm going down, up, down. Let's see. Yeah, down, up, 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 down, up. Okay, but when I get to the top and I start coming back, I didn't realize I was doing this. Because again, I was not even thinking about my right hand. I thought I was doing an alternate picking. I didn't realize until later that I realized, oh shoot, I'm doing economy picking. I was going, so I was like up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. But I can't do economy picking ascending, which is funny. It's like I can't do it, but I don't even know how I ended up learning it that way. But it is funny. So yeah, sometimes I use economy picking, sometimes I use pure up and down. So it's whatever gets the job done. And I can't even tell you the last time I ever in a session did. This is not what people want to hear. It's funny because I would... I really wanted to be the fastest guitar player in the world. I was like learning all these, trying to figure out Al Di Meola songs and John McLaughlin and stuff like that. And I was like, somebody said, somebody would say, that's great, kid, but it's not, it's not how many notes you play, it's the notes you play. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, geezer, old timer, I want to be fast. That's what's, it's like, it was a sport. It was the stupidest thing. It's like, I got to run faster. I got to jump higher, that kind of thing. And so two things collide, there's like playing guitar and making a living, and it's like, if I were to insist on frenetic, 30-second triplet note guitar solos on everything I did, I wouldn't have any work. And none. No one would call me for that. I'd be like, oh, if I got to put a solo on it, it's like, no. And I know guys that kind of their brains are kind of in that place where it's like, yes, this is my sound, this is my style, it's what I got to do, and if you're going to hire me, and it's like, and nobody really hires any to do guitar solos. Although it's funny because lately I have been playing some solos on pop records, but usually it's more like a sonic thing or something, or you got to find the right note. Nobody wants to hear a beat it, Eddie Van Halen solo over a pop song. It's just not very common. There's couple good pop songs out there, contemporary ones that have. Nuno Betancourt did a great guitar solo on a Rihanna song a few years back. In fact, he was her guitar player on the road. He was one of her guitar players. That just blown. When I found that out, it just blew me away. Nuno Betancourt, because he was such a great guitar player. And he did that More Than Words. He was such a technically great guitar player. They had a monster hit with More Than Words. And then nothing. I must have taught that song 1,000 times to students. But nothing ever really happened to him. And it was like, he had a signature guitar. He had, these great, but it was, again, the same, the kind of that problem. It was like, it just wasn't what people generally wanted to listen to, particularly the people who generally make pop stars, and that's 15-year-old girls. So those are where the records sell. And so who is he touring with now? A pop star. I have to. I should pull up some live videos where he's playing with her, because I have a hard time imagining it. And I think I did when I first found out. I kind of pulled up some videos of him playing with her, and I went, wow, actually makes a lot of sense, because she does rock out at times. Rihanna likes to rock. And my good friend Kook has been her vocal producer since 2008. So he travels all over the world with her. He's the guy that produced Justin. He also produced Mariah Carey and Beyonce and a lot of people. He's produced a lot of vocalists. Chris Brown. That's how he met. He was working with Chris Brown when he met Rihanna, because at the time Rihanna was Chris Brown's girlfriend. And so it's definitely anyway. But Nuno playing with Rihanna makes some sense. Now, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, and so yeah, Kook is the one that my friend Kukurel is the one that introduced me to Justin. So. No, it's fine. John, generally what I do is I spend about 40 to 50 minutes on the subject at hand, and then I riff. And I'm probably going to have to take off here in a little bit, but I'm checking my emails. Because I've got some stuff I got to take care of. We're good, though. Boom, boom, boom. All right, I've got to do that. Yeah, I got some things I got to do. But anyway, I'm losing you talking about Nuno Bentoncourt. So let's do a little bit of playing on this pentatonic, though, okay? So let's do a little bit more on this. And you know what? I'm going to play it on the acoustic because I'm tired of listening to that gainy sound. And pick it how you want. At this point, okay, the goal is to get this side of your brain under get it rote, so you don't have to think about it. So second, 8th fret, 10th fret, 7th fret, 10th fret, 7th fret, 10th fret, 7th fret, 9th fret, move up, 8th fret, 10th fret, 8th fret, 10th fret. And then 10, 8, 10, 8, 9, 7, sorry, 10, 7, 10, 7, 10, 7. And what I would do is I would turn each one of those pairings to its own individual exercise, okay? So you can go, ascending, descending. And there's where you could work on this. Okay, that's the time to work on your right hand, because your left hand's going, oh, I got this. Your left hand. If your left hand has it, you can start working on your right hand. And then you could do up and down. You could alternate. So there I'm going 8, 7, 10, 10. 8, 7, 10, 10. Requires laying down the third finger. Or pinky, sorry. And then the next one would be, okay, I'm on the D string and the A string. And you could do the D string and the G string. And now I'm doing the blues note instead. You could try to swing it. You'd sing along with it too. Like I said, that's a good. You can try to sing along with it. Okay, then you got the second and third string, and that's a great exercise because just in itself, ascending, descending, because it works all four fingers, each once. And then the last one you could do with these two fingers, your second and third. So you could turn into little snippets of exercises. Then you could do string skipping, and that's a good exercise. So play the fifth string or sixth string and the fourth string. Descending, ascending. You go. All of it intended to get you more and more familiar with the scale, so that like the scale becomes second nature. You could do skip two strings. You go. Okay, I'm back to swinging. What Bruce says. Sip already. Oh, me? All right. Hopefully this makes sense. We're gonna try to do a little bit more on pentatonic number 2 on Friday, assuming I can work Friday. I'm pretty sure we're good for Friday. Today I wasn't so sure about it, but it worked out. I'm so glad. John, thanks, John. I'm just entertaining you. Let me entertain you. Who is good in bluegrass? Oh, there's so many great players in bluegrass. I mean, you can start with Tony Rice. You can go back from before him and get the oldies. But there's so many young, insane. If you enter in YouTube flat picking champion, you'll just want to. I can't. I'll just want to put my guitar down and never pick it up again. It's like I forget who I went to see, but it was like. My friend Doug, who's just a dear friend, I miss him. He's one of the people in Indiana that I miss. And oh shoot, I need a story. I'm trying to think if I got a Doug story. But Doug was, I think it may have been in reference to Frank Mbali or something. He went to see Chick Corea, I think, and maybe Frank Mbali was playing with him. And he said, yeah, the concert was great. And they had these booths set up where you could sell all your gear and seek counseling. So I've used that. Anytime I go to see a show or see somebody who's freaking like blows my doors off, I just say, yeah, so where's the booth where I sell my gear and get counseling? Molly Tuttle is great. Yeah, she's awesome. She's very musical too. It's not like she's not just a show off. I don't know if she was ever a champion. Maybe she was. But yeah, some of let's see. Brian Sutton is great. And again, not my forte. I learned more doing the bluegrass stuff with you guys than I have intentionally through. In fact, I was a little disappointed. I bought the Tony Rice book, and it was a lot thinner than I thought it was going to be. It was only 20 or 30 pages, and it was kind of, it was not very, I don't know. It's hard. I've written stuff, and when I do videos, it's kind of like people will say, "Well, you didn't talk about this, or you didn't do that." Well, you didn't, and it's like you didn't watch the whole video. And it's like I don't want to complain about a book I haven't actually read. You know what I mean? It's like how often do I just jump right into the book? Like this Pumping Nylon book, I probably opened it up and went, "Oh, okay, I need to work on that." I didn't read like the first 10 pages where he sets everything up and gives you a plan. There's another book, I think, by Mick Goodrick. If you're an advanced player, this book, it's called The Advancing Guitar Player. I know that sounds like, oh, well, that was a setup, Tom. Let's see if I can find it. I'll recognize the cover if I can find it. Where's Amazon? I'm going to create a link if I can find it. This thing is cool because the Advancing Guitarist by Mick Goodrick. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, this is it. So, 97. Wow. I didn't get it right away. Somebody recommended it to me, and I ordered it on Amazon. And but it still was years ago. It was not 97. It was probably 2007 or something like that. And this thing was. Oh, I didn't post a link to the Discord, did I? Mark O'Connor's great too. Yeah, Mark O'Connor, and he's a great fiddle player. And then he picks up a guitar, and I'm like, dude, stop it. we don't need the competition. But the Mick Goodrick book, the thing that's interesting about that is it's kind of like because I think he was a teacher, but I think he was taught at Berkeley, maybe in Boston. And I think the thing about that book is it's very contrarian, and it's not a lot of exercise. Like you look at it and you're like, well, where are the scales and the exercises? It's kind of the opposite of a Ted Green book. Like you buy a Ted Green book and it's just chock full of scales and chord shapes, and you're like, okay, where do I begin here? This book is all text, and you're like, well, wait a minute, where are they getting? But it's all stuff up here. Like he'll say, okay, now play in the key of C, but only play on the B string. Okay, now play in the key C, but only play on the B string and the A string or something. He does stuff like oops. And so that it really helps you get out of your boxes and come up with new ideas. And see, that book, there are some exercises in there and stuff. That book's a really good one though for kind of getting you out of any kind of rut that you might be in. So, oh yeah, I keep saying the Discord link and I keep forgetting to do it. And I'm gonna post a permanent Discord link here, and that way if you watch this later, it's still good, which is great. So I wish I'd done that before, but anyway, invite people. Set this link to never expire. Copy. Over here and paste. So this one is good. And so you can, that's an invite to join our Discord. It's kind of where everyone here populates, everyone's pretty much on right now, populates the Discord and continues. Bruce is building me a cigar box guitar, so he's posting pictures up there of the progress, which is really fascinating. I love that stuff. I would never have a wood shop. I would never do what you do, Bruce. My grandfather was really good. We actually have some beautiful furniture in our home that my grandfather made, which is the coolest thing. And I don't think my cousins have anything like that. But my sister has a desk he made. I have a table bench thing that he made. I've got a couple clocks that he made. I don't know if you can see this. Let's see. This here is a jewelry box that he made for my mom. My dad's dad made this for my mom. And it's a jewelry box that he made. And I'm using it now, which is cool because it was my mom's. That means something. But I'm using, there's picks, and I got capos and fingernail files, and then I've got slides. So it's just a place to keep all the. That's a rare insight into my life right there. So, but anyway, he made a lot of stuff, but he cut his thumb off, and then he got lockjaw because it was the table saw. It was a table saw. He cut his thumb off, and it was rusty, and he got lockjaw. So, I try hard not to lose. I've heard horror stories, and I don't want to hear any of them right there. I think I told this story, Diane, but maybe not. I think I did. I'm pretty sure I did. But I was playing classical guitar at a restaurant in Pasadena, and I was volunteering, basically getting paid lunch and tips, and it was right near the courthouse. So lawyers are the worst tippers. I would make like $2 a day in pennies and nickels and quarters, dimes. But I was sitting there, and where I was playing, it was mic'd up and pumped throughout the house, and but for me, I was doing it because I wanted to get practiced playing classical music in front of people, so I wouldn't be nervous, and so it served its purpose. I did it for like a year and a half. In fact, I did it for 6 months after Alex was born. I'd have him sleeping behind me in a bassinet and play classical guitar. Pretty crazy. People would come by and they'd look at me like, "Wait, is that a baby behind you?" So, I don't think I could do that today. I think there's probably laws against that or something. But I was a stay-at-home dad for, Alex's first 7 years. Jack was 5 and Emma was 2 when Beth finally stopped teaching and stayed home. But this guy sat down at the bar right there, and he had a big old Band-Aid on his hand, and it was like this giant thing. And and eventually this guy came and sat down. They start talking, and I'm playing, and I can hear him talking. And he goes, "What happened to your hand?" And he goes, "Oh, I cut my fingers off on a table saw, and they sewed them back on, and we'll see. We don't know if it's going to work or not." It's like, oh my gosh. I'm like, and my fingers literally started getting rigor mortis. It's like, oh, I couldn't hardly play. I said, "Guys, you mind like changing the subject or moving to the other end of the bars so I can keep playing? Because this is like messed." It was like purely psychological, but oh my gosh, how real was it? Yeah, so I really respect Bruce and his ability to not cut a finger off. Yeah, that would be awful. Don't cut a finger off making me a guitar, okay? It's the tools now are much better. My grandfather did it back when it was probably right after he moved to Florida, and they moved to Florida to Naples in '67, I think '66 or '67. So it happened sometime after that. I remember that was pretty crazy. But also on the Discord is anytime I scan something and put a PDF up there, these things, I could probably drag these onto a Word doc and save it and then do a scan PDF so that you can have them. Once we get further along, I'll do that. I did do the exercises. I touched my face so we can take a sip. And also people just post videos, fun videos. A lot of people have posted pictures of themselves. I think we have in the Discord, I think there is a followers with guitars. Yes. So that's where you want to put, I even have some pictures up there I posted of when I was in the movie Gangster Squad. People posted, Frankie's got pictures of a guitar, him playing his guitar. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's nice. Let's see, is that a Martin? Peter's not on right now. Looks like a Martin, but no, it's a Takamine. It's trying to look like a Martin. No, that's a Martin. Yeah, that's cool. So if you scroll through those, you can see. There's Bruce. Hey, Bruce. There's Dennis, Josh Flagg, Jim Lee playing bass. There's Gary, and I know Gary because I see his videos. Bonnie with her Saga. And there's Diane with me and Charvy. Is that what you call it? Is Charvel? Diane's a rocker. Diane, you gotta like learn some Van Halen stuff. Bob Schumann. Looking good right there. I love the hat. Hook. See, now, for some reason, I thought Hook was like 22. He's not. Peter G. Oh my gosh. Oh, there won't be a quiz on this. Oh, that's funny. He ordered one of the shirts. So he ordered the shirt version of this, which is something I say a lot. It's so awesome. I thought Pepper was up here. She may have put her picture somewhere else. Anyway, it's so awesome. I really appreciate you guys going through all this with me. This COVID thing, and uh, um, yeah, Charlie, you got to put your picture up there. Who else is here? Dennis Purdy. Yeah. Uh, yeah, I would. Dennis, look into any of those players mentioned there. Mark O'Connor. I mentioned Brian Sutton is great. Molly, what's her name? Molly Tuttle. She's great. She's also cute. That's a plus. I have that going for me too. So anyway, yeah, that's what's going on. Story. Story. I'm trying to think. I did tell you about the. In fact, it was funny because it was where Mike Pence, and Woody Harrelson were classmates at Hanover College in Indiana, and I did a gig there. Remember, that was the one where I told you that it was probably around the time they were going to school there. I think they're both right around my age, and they might have been just graduated from there, but they did this. We were supposed to play outdoors, and it was pouring rain, and so what they did was they moved us into the cafeteria, which of course sounds awful, and they brought the outdoors in. They even had a creek. They did all this stuff to make a creek in the waterfall creek, trees everywhere. It was amazing. They really did a good job. I remember this other gig Malachi did at a fraternity house I remember it was in Lafayette, so it was Purdue University, and the frat house was this L-shaped building, and we were on the bottom floor. Fortunately, oh my gosh, a couple times so one time we played, I think it was in Hanover, and we had to play on the top floor of this house that was this, like those staircases that, like this, it was like 4 flights up, and I mean, we had a CP70, and I think we probably took it out of the case. But we had a Rhodes 88, suitcase Rhodes. Oh, gosh. We had so much gear, and we hauled it up and it was brutal. See you Friday, Jim. Good to see you. Yeah. Yeah. I don't want you to scare anyone either, Charlie, so don't worry about it. You're good. So this fraternity decided that they wanted to have a pool party, but they didn't have a pool. So what they did was they had this L-shaped building. They built 2 walls, and then they used the building for the other 2 walls, and they sealed the windows shut and filled this box that they created with water. I don't know, they sealed it. Keep in mind, Purdue is a big engineering school. And so they basically filled this, and I think it was a 3-story frat house. So they went up 1 story to the middle of between the second and first floor. So it was about 10 feet deep when they filled it full of water. I don't know how long it took to fill. It must have taken days to fill this thing. But it's an engineering school, so they figured out a way of doing it. But we're playing opposite that window. And I never saw any water coming from it, but the whole time we're playing in this room, and across the room is this window, I thought, if that window breaks, all that water is going to come rushing at us. And so we're playing for all these drunk college kids when they're not supposed to be drinking. But the age is 18 to 22. It's only the 21 and 22-year-olds are allowed to drink. But, everybody's drinking because it's there. Not me, and not the band. The band never did. Because we usually, that was a good hour and a half drive from home. So I'm not going to drive. Well, I never drank anyway back then. And so we're sitting there playing and watching kids dance and dancing on tables and falling on tables, and and I'm sure Gooch did the Malachi Says Freeze. But In the meantime, I'm seeing splash and a kid, going in there. They're diving off the roof into this pool, or off maybe they're coming out the third story window, or even second story, I guess, the third story window and jumping out. I'm not sure. Well, they probably had roof access, but it was quite the sight to be playing and having kids like dancing, and then at the back of the room there's these windows, and you can see splash and the kids in the pool, and then they climb out, and then another one splash. Oh man, that was pretty crazy. That and I'm like I said, the whole time I'm thinking, and we were on a platform, so I think if the water, by the time it got to us, it would have been under our platform, but we had a lot of power, and I have been shocked bad on stage before. I learned to check very young that to make sure that the mic and my guitar were grounded on the same ground. So, and I'm sure there's some electricians. If Roger's still watching, he may know. I think, but I do not want to steer anyone wrong on this. But like what I will do now is I will hold my guitar and tap the mic with the back of my hand. And if I feel shocked, now of course with wireless mics, not an issue. So, and a wireless guitar pack, same thing. You're not going to get electrical shock through that. Thank God. So it's been a long time since it's even been an issue, I think. But I remember even at church, sometimes it would be. And so I think if you reverse the polarity on the amp, I know we would lift the ground, which is actually the worst thing to do. But we would, if you can have a polarity switch on the amp, if you do that, like I think a Fender has 2 on positions, like on, off, on, and if you go to the other on, it reverses the polarity, and then touch the mic, and hold the guitar and touch the mic. If you don't get shocked, then you're. Has anybody ever been shocked? I've been shocked a few times in my life. I remember when I was a kid, I was 5 years old, and I went to the bathroom and took a pair of my mom's tweezers and stuck it in an outlet because I went, oh look, tweezer holes. Like, oh, this is a tweezer holder. It was like too perfect. It's like I looked at the tweezers, and I'm looking at the hole in the wall, and I'm looking at the tweezers, and I'm looking at the hole in the wall, and I go, barnk. And I still remember the feeling of, like, it felt like someone hit my elbow with a ball-peen hammer. We had it when we first started managing the building in Pasadena. We had this old Morty. Morty was great. He was an 80-year-old electrician, and he wouldn't turn off the power to work on apartments. He goes, yeah, 120, I can, 220 doesn't even bother me. He goes, no, 120, and I don't want to have to go back downstairs and turn on the power. So he would work on, things that were hot, and then he goes, as long as you don't like have the electricity go across your chest. He said when he was in the Navy I think it was World War II, he was in the Pacific, and his buddy was working on something, and they were both electricians. That's where he learned how to do it. And his buddy was holding onto a pipe, and then his tool hit like whatever it was is much more than 220 or something, and it killed him. Like went across his heart and stopped his heart, and he died. He says he definitely tries not to do that. I don't know that 120 would. I mean, I've done. Like I said, when you're playing guitar and the polarity, it's not grounded, the polarity is not right on the microphone or whatever, you touch your lips on the mic. That's what's so crazy. You do it a couple times, you never want to do it again because your lips are so sensitive, and they just like, man, it's like hurts like the dickens. And one time when I first moved out here, I was playing the guitar and I had a long cable on it, and I went outside of I was renting like the guy I was renting a room from. He turned the garage into a big room, but it didn't have a bathroom or anything like that. But I could walk out to the pool and stuff like that. It was right by the pool. So I had my guitar and a long cable, and I was barefoot, and I walk out onto the concrete. I got the crud shocked out of me then too, because I became the ground, and that's what you don't want to be. But Morty was great, and he would work on stuff without turning off the power. He goes, "Yep, that's hot," and then he'd work on some more, and he goes, "Okay, I got it working," and he turned on the switch, and boom, it works. Yeah, it's the amps. Okay, I knew it was something like that. Yeah, Diane, I've done a couple things like that. Things that you didn't tell your parents about, like, no, I don't know where that black patch on the stove came from. I can't remember. Oh man. I remember one time trying to get out of going to school. I put I lit I took a match and lit the bottom of a thermometer, and it immediately went and shattered like the top, and the mercury went out the top. I was like, oh gosh. Mom, I don't know what happened to the, I don't know. Where is my, oh man, my kids did that. It's funny because the kids are finally getting old enough now. They're starting to tell you. Alex said, yeah, the first time I drove your car, I hit a pole, and I never told you. I go, you hit the pole moving, putting the car in the garage. He goes, yeah. I said, I was like trying to remember when I did that. I'm like, I've never hit that pole. And I had this big scrape on the side of my bumper. I'm like, and you don't notice these things generally. If you get in and out of the car a certain way, you never see that side of the car. And so one day I was walking to the car, and when did I hit a pole? Jeez. Alex finally fessed up. I don't even have the car anymore, so I can't take it out of his hide. But yeah, I'm sure your kids have done that. I think we should all just imagine what Charlie looks like. What you could do is maybe, Dennis, you could do this. Google evil clown playing guitar, and then just post that in the Discord. Just evil guitar or evil clown doing anything is pretty disturbing thing to Google. So, but that way, then Charlie, any picture you post can't be that bad. So, yes, in fact, my daughter and my wife just left this morning with her. I got Jack a car for school. I didn't get Jack a car for school. Beth wanted to buy a car from a friend of ours, and we bought it. It was a Yaris, and she loved the little car. But then we got to a point where Jack needed a car for school, and I'm like, oh, so okay, we'll give Jack the Yaris, and I'll buy Beth a new car. So I bought her a Volvo like mine. So we have black and white S80s, and mine's black and hers is white. And so he got in a wreck, totaled it. It wasn't his fault, technically. It wasn't his fault. But he drives like a little he drives like Speed Racer. Now he bought his first car, and Alex said he doesn't drive like that anymore. I said, yeah, that makes sense. It's his car, his insurance, all that. But actually, the accident he got into was not his fault. But it was one of those things where he was on the right lane, and the left two lanes were stopped. And he was tooling along, and somebody let somebody through, and that person didn't look to see if anybody was coming, or they couldn't, and they pulled right in front of him, and so he totaled the car. So then we got this other car, and that's the one that Emma and Beth are driving to Joplin, Missouri as I speak. So they're driving that there. So she'll have, because right now she's been using a 2001 PT Cruiser that's got like 300,000 miles on it, and I'm kind of tired of putting money into it. So this car is pretty new. It's newer than any of my cars. And so, yeah, but it's going to be her car. Once she gets there, she's going to put it in her name. She's just got a job. Praise God. She just got a job in Joplin. She's going to be working in the school district in Joplin. She's teaching, she's doing like STEM stuff for fourth graders, which is really cool. I don't know if you know Dimitri Martin. He's a very funny comedian. And he said, why is it okay to say I like fourth graders, but not okay to say I like 10-year-olds? It's like one just sounds creepy. The other one's like, oh, cool. You like fourth graders. Yeah, third graders are great. I love 9-year-olds. Just like, why? Why? They're the same thing. It's like, a Vauxhall Corsa. That sounds like a cool car. I'm going to have to look that up. And Charlie B says that would. There you go. So I'm afraid what Dennis is going to find. Yeah, my first car was my mom's Ford 1972 Ford Country Squire station wagon. My second car was one I bought from my stepdad. He leased a car, so I paid off his residual on lease, which is a great thing to do. If you know someone who's leasing a car and you like the car, offer to pay their residual, because it's like, that's pretty far under Blue Book, because they want as much money out of the car in the lease as they can get. So if the person's fine with it, like if they put too many miles on it, and they don't want to have to pay those extra, penalties and stuff, they'll love you for paying off their lease, for paying off the residual. But that's what I did with my stepdad. I think it was $3,400. I borrowed it. I had the money, but I borrowed it anyway. He said, no, borrow it. Do like a 2-year loan so that you get some credit. And that's what I did. And I paid it off in 2 years. And that was a 77 Pontiac Grand Prix that I got in 79. And so that's what I moved out here to California in. That thing was just a boat. I mean, the hood was big enough you could have played a football game on. A 66 VW Bug. Oh, new with a sunroof. Nice. Man, I bet you wish you still had that. I mean, it would be cool to see my Country Squire station wagon, but even before I got my car in in 1979, the wagon, which was mine at that point, it wouldn't pass inspection. The car was only 4 years old. It's just American cars in the 70s were just garbage. And it wouldn't pass inspection because in one of the rear wells was the spare tire. And the snow and ice had rusted underneath the car so bad that the tire was actually hanging down. So it looked like I almost had 5 tires. And so it wouldn't pass inspection. Or it looked like I had 5 wheels. And so I basically took some sheet metal. My neighbor, Bob Metternach, gave me a piece of sheet metal that we just dropped in there and put the tire on top of it, and that kept it from falling through the floor. So, wow, man, you went through 6 engines. Yeah, I don't know if that's worth it unless you did the work yourself. Maybe that's 6 engines to get to 300,000. We got to 300,000 in our Honda Civic on one engine. We got to 300,000 on our Volvo 840 that we just donated. In fact, they still have not given me a receipt for that. I want the receipt so I can write it off. So anyway, that's where we're talking about first cars now. So why don't you guys pick this up? I'm sure we're down to 3 viewers. The 3 viewers that stuck around. We're down to 24. So let's you guys pick that up at the Discord if you want. Maybe post pictures of your cars. You can create, Dennis, if you want to, you can create a new page. Everybody in their first cars. Oh my gosh, I may have some old pictures of me with my first car. 53 Pontiac Chieftain. Oh, that's nice. It was free. Yeah, that's pretty much everybody's first cars or somebody. A planter in someone's backyard. Oh, funny. So anyway, my plan is to be here Friday, Lord willing, and if I'm not going to be here, I'll try to let you know via all the different social mediums. Okay. Thanks again, John. Thank you, Charlie, Dennis, everybody, Bob. I'll see you all soon, and see you Friday. Okay. Take care. God bless. Bye bye.